Superman 18, legacy number 861, Joshua Williamson writing with Jamal Campbell
Mm-hmm.
on the art. All right, so this is tying in again, of course, to Absolute Power. It kind of wraps up
Mm-hmm.
Superman and Zatanna's little mini quest to go and unlock the underground passages through the multiverse.
Yeah, I give all of the editors credit for lining up the main issues with Absolute Power, right? So they all feel like we're doing stuff in time, right? So like, because we're aware of what's going on with Wonder Woman.
To an extent, I will say that last Absolute Power did have like all of the like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, who all have tie-in books going on right now. All of them came back having finished their stories at the end of last Absolute Power. So these issues, these like third issues of all these little mini arcs that are tying in, are technically behind, but it's easy enough to follow because it's like, okay, we understand this is what they're doing just before they get back. I will say though, I do think out of the Superman issues, this is the weakest one. This one felt really just kind of like a shrug team for me. I just didn't really get much out of it.
It resolves very quickly considering the stakes that are at hand here. You know, finding the dark pathways and dealing with Neron and making deals, and it resolves extra quick. And that was a bit, a bit disappointing. So
yeah, I didn't hear what you said there. So if I'm repeating something you just said, apologies.
Probably
but
not.
Neron was just a big dud. Like nothing interesting came from Neron being here.
And he's DC's effective like devil, like Satan. Like he's the one that makes deals. He's the one that made the deal with Felix Faust, right? So if he's making a deal to Clark, this feels like it should have been a big deal. And you turn the page, and now we're done. And so it was one of those Williamsons, hey, we're going to end with a bang and then start with not a bang.
We should, just in case it comes back up later, because it probably will, because the whole idea of making a deal with the devil is that it will sort of like rear its ugly head in a way that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
But Neron's deal is, I'll give you the map to the back passages if you, Clark Kent, Superman, tell a lie. And Clark says, okay, sure, I agree to that. He takes the map and goes, he asked me to lie. I did. And walks off. And I thought, okay, that's funny, but I'm not so sure that that's going to actually work. I'm not sure if that's going to actually count for the deal.
There's fine print on all these deals. Clark clearly never seen an episode of The Twilight Zone. You know? Which then everything he says throughout, I'm like, is this a lie? You know?
Well, no, I think he thinks he's fooled Neron. He thinks that him lying about saying that he's going to do it counts as the lie, and that's it.
Right.
I will say as well, like Clark's like I hate magic attitude has been very strong this arc, and I was feeling it in this one because it got to the point where Zatanna turned around and says, "Hey, magic's everything to me." They didn't just take like my superhero life. Like Zatanna's who I am all the time. Yeah. So the thing you hate is the thing I love, and kind of like choose them out for it.
Well, the thing that I am. So when you say you hate magic, you're effectively saying you hate me, and that hurts. So I like that aspect of it. I'm glad that Williamson took time to add that little piece in there.
I don't know if I do, just because I don't know if anything interesting comes from it. Like, I appreciate her calling him out on it, but I also don't really know if it's really if any of it matters. I don't know.
Well, no. But, I mean, if you're going to have him do this I hate magic through these last two issues, at least there's an emotional kind of resonance here from Zatanna. So I'm glad that they address it, instead of her just being like, oh, he's just upset.
Anyway, so they go to the dark passages to get to the House of Heroes, which they mentioned, we've not seen this since Justice League 75. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that was the end of Snyder's run. Jeez, taking me back now.
When we died.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
And Dr. Light's there, and like they end up fighting. This was a weird pull, actually. They end up fighting like someone who looks like when Batman and Superman fused together recently in World's Finest, which obviously for Superman this was years ago because that's like set in the past. Right. But we just saw that recently in World's Finest. I was like, okay, why are we doing this? It felt like such a random pull to me. Maybe it's teasing something for later that he's going to do something with, but it just felt like, wait, what is this? Why?
Well, I figured it's someone from the multiverse, right? Because of the House of Heroes and because of what Waller was doing, So
probably, but I just don't care. Like, what is this? Why are we doing it? Like, why is this coming out of nowhere?
What's the name? Because they gave it a name too, I think.
They did. What it was? Confusion with a K. So he's been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's Confusion with a K, and it's the Superman bat. It's basically that from World's Finest, but on Earth 3. So when they got the power of the Yellow Lantern, because it's Earth 3 where everything's flipped, right? It created this, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I guess.
I assume this is setting up a story for. I mean, maybe this is seeding for something else. Like, maybe it's not for Williamson. Maybe Mark Waid's asked him to do this because he wants to do something with it in Justice League Unlimited. In which case, I'm sure it'll be fine when it comes back up there. It just felt so out of nowhere and weird here. Like, it just, like, it has nothing to do with what's going on in Absolute Power.
It made such a dent that I forgot that it was yellow powered until we just turned to the page and when he told me it was Confusion with a K. Yeah,
it feels so superfluous to anything going on right now that it just felt like oh, this is how we get some action scenes in the middle of this issue. Because ultimately it's just, you know, Superman and Zatanna come out via the shadows and the, you know, where the Fortress of Solitude once was, which is where Lois, Jimmy, Lex, and
Mercy,
Siobhan. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, Mercy's there too, but. You know, so they do a whole thing where they come out of the shadows and Clark's like, I love magic, I found my wife, and that's basically it. They just all kind of agree that they're going to go back and find all the other heroes that need to be collected to go meet up with the Titans, and that's it. That's the issue.
Would he drop the I love magic? Oh, that's the lie. He still hates magic, you know. So you know, but yes, I'm sure the Neon thing will show up again later, like you said. Those deals with the devil always, you know, for storyline reasons, pop up at the worst time for our character. Yeah, so
this actually just felt really weird to me. Everything, it felt like it just wrapped up stuff far too quickly. Some of the things they threw in just felt really random, and then it just kind of ends with, oh, okay, we've completed our side quest, so we're on the way back to the main book now, and that's it. Obviously Jamal Campbell's art is very good. You know, it's very, very pretty.
The Dark Pathways pages especially, because they get very chaotic, right? With all the lines and, like, you know, like they look like broken pieces of it, and you could get lost. But because Campbell's such a great visual storyteller, you know, we're pretty easy to follow throughout, even without the speech bubbles. But yeah, Campbell's art's never been the reason that, you know, the book wasn't connecting for me.
No, obviously not. Yeah, I think this one felt more like just a crappy tie-in issue to me, like a needless tie-in issue versus the first two parts, which were a little bit more interesting. But ultimately, just didn't know how to end or like do anything interesting to feel like a conclusion. So, I mean, at this point, it's just kind of that. That said, though, there is one more page because it does the to be continued, and then it says, "But wait, there's an after credits page." And then you go to the after credits, and it's just that classic page of Doomsday punching the wall, but everything's all fiery and hell-like because he's in hell. Yeah. So it's just teasing the next Superman story. That's all.
Like, and I know you're not that excited for Doomsday, and truthfully, I'm not either. However, the Doomsday and Hell stuff, I think, makes for great visuals. Because this at the bottom looks metal as hell.
To be fair, though, I'm not excited for Doomsday because I hate the idea of a Doomsday story. I'm not interested in a Joshua Williamson Doomsday story.
Yeah. If it was Dan Waters, it was Dan Waters that wrote that, when Martian Manhunter and Supergirl went down into hell.
Right? I can't remember. So that sounds right, but I don't remember.
Because I really liked that one shot. That special was really good to read. And we have Bloodwind, the Superman of Hell. Hopefully, you know. But yeah, you're right. We're gonna have Williamson doing all that, and I'm mostly positive on Williamson. But the Williamson fatigue is starting to set in.
I don't know if you've been that positive. I feel like you've been mostly on board with the hate train for the last year. But
yes, but I still try to find the here with the I hate magic stuff and Zatanna. I think that Williamson still has occasional moments. You know, I've defended some Superman issues. Not so much a lot of the big event type stuff, though. That's mostly been the smaller things. It's
just really funny to me that, like, all of the writers they've got on most of the big books at DC right now, I'm actually mostly into. I guess Flash also kind of counts as an outlier too, but
you gave Flash a very good try.
Oh yeah. But what I'm saying is, though, it's just kind of funny that the writers of Batman and Superman are the only two that I really have a problem with. because like, across the board, everything else is like, I mean,
Yeah.
between what's already coming out and then what all the stuff that's about to come out, everything's like super exciting by and large.
Yeah.
And then just at this very center, the core of DC's whole thing is the main Batman book and the main Superman book, and those are by far the least exciting things I'm reading right now.
Yeah.
But hey, I've got nothing else to say about this. It's just like, who cares? It's there's nothing interesting about it. Matt, what are you rating it?
I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Just right down the middle, just mediocrity
Perfectly made.
through and through.